Hello, my name is Caden Tucker, and I'm going to give a very brief safety review in response to the LPG fire. Based on all available data I have currently and how the situation is currently unfolding, I recommend that we immediately evacuate a 3-block radius around the gas station and put into effect a shelter-in-place order for an additional 3 blocks past the evacuation zone. We need to ensure and make very clear to the people in the shelter-in-place zone that they need to stay away from windows. We will have significant overpressure should an explosion occur. This is my evaluation of the situation as it unfolds. Our primary fuel source is propane, which means we have a significant chance of an explosion occurring. One of the biggest risks we have if an explosion occurs is overpressure. We have a lot of propane inside this gas station, so we will see significant pressures produced as a result of an explosion. Fragmentation is also a very large concern for us. We have cars, buildings, the pressure vessels that the propane is contained in. All of those will produce fragmentation, which will present significant hazard to the nearby area around the station. The main concern right now is a fire at the station. However, if an explosion occurs, that fire is going to spread significantly. Along with the fire, we also have the risk of smoke inhalation. Again, hopefully we have evacuated that 3-block radius, so this won't be an issue, but it is a possibility that some people will suffer from smoke inhalation. As good as news as we can have in this situation, CO2 is the primary byproduct of a propane explosion, which is not significantly dangerous to breathe. However, it is possible that there could be very small isolated pockets of carbon monoxide, which is a very large concern. Before I detail my rationale for coming up with the 3-block evacuation radius and the 3-block shelter-in-place zone, I need to make very clear that I made assumptions given the time constraint we're dealing with here. So I assume that all of the propane vessels are full. None of them are half empty. Everything is completely full. We want to assume worst case scenario here. I'm assuming that all of the propane detonates all at one time. Everything is eaten up in that. Not entirely realistic, but again, we want to assume worst case scenario so we can prepare for the worst. I want to assume that propane is the only flammable or explosively reactive material in the vicinity. I have no reason to believe that anything else is of the case. And finally, that we're dealing with a gas explosion. This is not high explosives, so our shock front, which is the main driver of significant overpressure, we're going to see a significant decay. So it may seem like 3 blocks is not enough, but with this type of explosion impending, we're going to see a very quick decay in that overpressure front. Based on those assumptions and some quick calculations, this is, again, very worst case scenario, but we want to prepare for the worst. We have at least 1 tanker trunk that we can see from the video, 4 flatbed trucks, it appears, that are completely loaded with smaller canisters of propane, and more than likely, as is the case with most other propane stations, we have 3 buried tanks, giving us a total volume of propane of about 105 cubic meters. With that volume, I estimate we have about 52,000 kilograms of propane all in all. We know that the heat of combustion of propane is about 2,220 kilojoules per mole. Using that heat of combustion, we can very roughly estimate that our total energy yield for a singular explosion of all the propane in this station is going to be about 2.63 gigajoules of energy. That is roughly equivalent to 600 kilograms of TNT. The DHS, Department of Homeland Security, provides a bomb threat standoff card. I'm using this as basis for the both shelter-in-place zone and the evacuation zone. So as we can see, we're assuming here that city block is about 400 feet in any direction on average. So that provides us with about 1,200 feet inside that evacuation zone and an additional 1,200 feet past that evacuation zone into the shelter in place zone.